Hi everyone, my name is Amy and I really wanted to make some YouTube videos to try and share my passion and my experience for travelling and particularly hiking in the UK. To start, I thought a great place would be the Hope Valley, and that's where I am at the moment. One of the things that I really like about the Hope Valley is the type of terrain there is. It is in the Dark Peak in the Peak District, and it's nestled between Sheffield and Manchester. And one of the great things about that is that you can get to either of those cities and there's a train line that runs between Manchester and Sheffield. Once you get to Sheffield and Manchester, there are hourly or sort of 2-hourly services that run in between. I would definitely check and have a look. As you will see in this video, I missed my connection and that meant that I had a pretty long wait, but there was a really good pub, the Sheffield Tap, which you'll see a little bit of, so I was able to kill a little bit of time, but it's definitely worth having a look at what, if you are making a change, what the facilities the stations have. But both Manchester and Sheffield are quite well established stations and areas, so there are a couple of things. There are a number of different places between Sheffield and Manchester where are some excellent bases from walking. There's Grindleford, Bamford, Edale, Hope. One of the things that I also love is that you can get trains back. So if you, for example, if you were to walk from, say, Edale to Hope, you can get the train back from Hope to Edale. And I think that's actually a really big perk of public transport, because sometimes, while circular walks are great, sometimes it is nice to be able to walk in a linear way and then be able to kind of loop back on yourself and save yourself the time. My other tips is always kind of have a look at the regularity of the trains, and again, similarly, when you're doing a changeover, or if you're not quite sure how long you're going to take, definitely know maybe what cafes or pubs might be around, and double check whether they take cash or card if you can. Depending on where you're going in between Sheffield and Manchester, the stations that I mentioned, Grindleford, Hathersage, Bamford, Hope and Edale, it's about 30 minutes from Sheffield, so really not very long, and the train services are fairly regular, every 1 to 2 hours. Always sort of bring a very good book or something to kind of keep your energies up, some snacks. Sometimes the train services do supply kind of coffees and teas, but yeah, it's good to have some in your backpack. Hopefully you'll see some of the sights in the video. Let's go. Morning. So I am going to attempt to climb or hike Mam Tor this morning. I'd love to say it was 8:30, but it's more like 10:30. I was originally planning to do Kinder Scout Plateau, but the terrain is kind of undistinguishable moorland, and there looks like there's a slightly low cloud, and when I checked the Met Office, it confirmed this. It's a little bit windy, so my route for Mam Tor, I've looked at some of the possible ways to come off if it isn't turning out the way that I'd hoped. But yeah, so hopefully I'll be in Hope later today. We'll see. Fingers crossed. So I am back at home now, not in the lovely Peak District, but I thought I would wrap up this video and sum up that I did get to Hope. and I had a lovely coffee and cake in the Grasshopper Cafe in Hope, and it was a really nice walk over the top. It was a little bit windy and there was a couple of times I was being blown about, but it wasn't anything too difficult to manage. I then travelled back from Hope to Edale, and the following day I also got the train and went from Edale to Bamford to do Bamford Edge and the Lady Bower Reservoir, and I had a lovely cup of soup that I brought with me, and there were some really lovely autumn colours. I actually made a bit of an error while navigating, and when I had route planned I had mistaken the telegraph poles for a track. So once I got to that point I was like, hang on a second, it says that I'm walking on telegraph poles. Which obviously wasn't the route. So I had buffered in enough time, which allowed me to take another actual accessible route back to Bamford to get the train back. I think the Peak District is a really great place to start out if you're looking to push your map reading skills. Perhaps you can already read a map, but you just want to sort of develop your skills a little bit more, perhaps in a terrain that's slightly more wild, maybe with some bigger hills, but also still wanting to be accessible, to be able to get the train home. There are other forms of transport, including buses in this area. So I would highly recommend starting at Edale for also Kinder Scout, Hope, Bamford. There's also walks starting from Gwyndelford and Hathersage, which are really worth visiting and I would highly recommend. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. I plan to make more videos on packing my autumn bag for autumn hikes and what I include, also other trips to the Lake District, book recommendations particularly for outdoors written by solo female hikers, or perhaps tips on solo navigating and things that I've learned from early in the year from doing navigating of groups and just by myself as well. So I look forward to making them and I hope to see you soon. Bye!